Welcome to this explainer. Starting your very first reef tank is absolutely thrilling, isn't it? But let's be totally honest for a second. Standing in front of those glowing blue tanks at the shop can be deeply intimidating. We're talking about live, highly sensitive animals here, and honestly, one of the biggest factors in your early success is simply knowing how to choose a healthy coral from the get-go. So today, consider this your personal one-on-one consultation. We're going to build a survival guide so you can walk into any aquarium store with total confidence. Now, here is a pretty bold statement, but it's exactly where we have to start. Don't just pick the prettiest coral. I know, it's so incredibly easy to get distracted by the brightest neon colors sitting in the display tank. But our first big mindset shift today is moving away from purely aesthetic shopping. If you're looking at two similar corals, we aren't just hunting for the rare or the ultra-colorful pieces. We really need to be looking closely for clear markers of survival and health.
But before you even think about shopping, you've got to know your tank. We essentially have three major categories to keep in mind: soft corals, LPS, and SPS. And they have vastly different requirements when it comes to light, water flow, and overall stability. So the crucial point to remember here is that matching the specific coral type to your tank's unique lighting and flow matters just as much as the baseline health of the animal you're looking to buy.
So here is our game plan for today. We'll cover getting started with corals, spotting healthy coral traits, red flags to avoid, buying corals online safely, the best corals for beginners, and finally, a purchase checklist. Section 1. Getting started with corals. Look, as a beginner, your main goal is not to hunt down the rarest, most expensive piece in the shop. Your goal right now is to focus purely on clear health and acclimation. You really want to select resilient corals that are actually going to survive that stressful transition from the store's holding system into your new developing tank conditions. Section 2. Spotting healthy coral traits. When you're inspecting a coral up close, you want to evaluate both its tissue condition and its behavior. You're checking for nice, clean tissue with consistent color, so no bleaching from stress. You absolutely want to see the polyps extended and happily visible. Make sure to scan the base and the edges for any sort of tissue recession and verify that it's firmly attached without any cracking. The tissue itself should look full and firm with literally zero exposed skeleton. And well, we obviously can't forget about the uninvited guests. You need to be looking for minimal signs of pests. That means keeping a really sharp eye out for visible flatworms, suspicious-looking eggs, or, and this one's a little creepy honestly, moth-like night activity. It might sound like something straight out of a sci-fi movie, but these are very real signs of problematic organisms that you absolutely do not want hitchhiking into your clean tank. Basically, you're looking for a responsive look, a coral that is opening up and expanding happily under the right lighting. On the flip side, the grim reality of a dying coral involves rapid tissue loss, literal melting, and black or brown areas that show active degradation. If a coral just never shows normal behavior, you've got to treat it as a massive risk, especially for a brand new setup. Section 3. Red flags to avoid. You need to be highly cautious of these major red flags. Severe bleaching that actually worsens while you're standing right there in the store, that is a very bad sign. Look out for any unusual slime or foul-looking surfaces, because that often suggests an active infection or die-off. Keep an eye out for dead, exposed skeleton, or even pinpoint tissue loss that just keeps spreading. And finally, avoid storm damage, things like broken bases or loose frags, unless, of course, the seller can clearly explain a stable recovery process for that specific piece. Now, that is all great advice for when you're physically standing in a store, but it raises a pretty critical question. What if you're buying online and you can't exactly lean in and see the slime or inspect the base up close? Section 4. Buying corals online safely. So here is your foolproof online buying process. First up, check the collection and holding times. You really want to ask how long a piece sat in a holding system. Generally speaking, shorter shipping windows combined with careful packaging really reduce stress on the animal. Next, and this is a massive pro tip, always request a short video over a still photo. You need to actually watch for that active polyp response and extension we talked about earlier. Finally, review the seller's acclimation guidance. If they're providing strong tank parameters and a careful acclimation process, that is a fantastic sign of their professionalism.
Section 5. Best corals for beginners.
Now, what exactly counts as easy definitely varies by system, but generally, you're going to want to start with soft corals and hardy LPS. Why? Well, because they tolerate the inevitable growing pains and the moderate fluctuations of a new tank so much better. They just tend to recover faster from minor setbacks.
Sensitive species, on the other hand, require absolute, perfect stability. But keep in mind, even those beginner-friendly soft corals still require a stable temperature, appropriate salinity, and good overall water quality to actually thrive.
There's this quote from the source material that I absolutely love. A small number of carefully chosen corals helps you learn your tank's rhythm. This is a huge urge for restraint. I know it's incredibly tempting to just fill your tank up right away, but if you buy multiple different species all at once, you're introducing way too many variables. If something goes wrong, and it might, making a proper diagnosis will be nearly impossible. So start small. Learn the rhythm.
Section 6. The final purchase checklist. Placement history is absolutely crucial here. When you're comparing two similar corals, really consider how long they've been in the store. Corals that have transitioned from being a new arrival to sitting in a display for weeks, actively showing stable behavior, those are vastly safer than a piece that literally just got taken off a shipping truck yesterday.
All right, here is your ultimate checklist to run through right before you hand over your credit card. For stability, ask the store exactly how long it's been in their system. For environment, double-check that its specific light and flow needs actually match your home setup. For health, insist on frags that have full tissue coverage and minimal irritation. And for behavior, you want active, normal extension. Seriously, never take home a coral that is closed up and unknown.
We have covered a ton of ground in this explainer today, but I want to leave you with one final provocative thought. You now know exactly how to pick out the healthiest, most resilient coral on the market. But remember, even the healthiest coral out there will struggle and fail if your water parameters aren't aligned. So, right before you head out to the store, ask yourself, is your tank truly stable, perfectly cycled, and genuinely ready to welcome its very first resident? If you aren't 100% sure, well, it might just be time to go test those water parameters right now. Thanks so much for joining me today. And hey, happy reefing!